Science progresses with technology. When we got the telescope, it changed humanity forever. Not just in navigation and naval warfare and map making, but understanding our place in the universe. Understanding that there was this universe out there that we needed to start exploring. When we got the microscope, that showed us a whole new world. A microscopic, invisible world literally at our fingertips that we didn't know was there. Founded germ theory and microbiology. Changed medicine as we know it. AI is a new scope, but it's not a telescope or a microscope. It shows us the big picture, the macro. It's a macroscope. And science has never had a macroscope before. We've never had the ability to take all the data out there and synthesize it. To take every journal and compress it so it fits in a single human mind in an afternoon. Millions of experiments are done every year. Most of the results go unread. It's like an ocean. And we can't boil the ocean as humans. But that's exactly what AI is able to do. To train ChatGPT, it read the equivalent of 20,000 years that it would take an individual to read. This new macroscope is going to open up a terrifying vista. And it's either going to push us back into a new Dark Ages, as Lovecraft suggested, or it's going to open up a new Renaissance. And I think this second Renaissance is upon us. It's going to show us connections between academic disciplines that no human's ever been there before, just by sheer combinatorics. The ability to bring together computer science and medicine and linguistics and psychology, material science, and the list goes on and on. The fruits that are at the overlap, the intersection of all those things. Well, traditionally, we don't define those overlaps. We don't have names for the Venn diagram that has more than 2 or 3 pieces in it. You can't major in those things. You can't study those things. But that's exactly what AI is going to be able to do. It's exactly what it's doing now. And you have access to this. You can get your hands on it. You can open up a browser tab and start looking at these things. What's extraordinary is that ChatGPT is not a search engine. It's not a faster way to get to a Wikipedia page. It's writing Wikipedia pages that didn't exist before you asked for them. And the interesting thing is, the universe isn't big enough, literally, to generate all the articles that it could create. If you imagine printing them out, you would very quickly exhaust all of the forests on the planet with paper. If you were to store them on thumb drives, you would quickly exhaust all of the memory on the planet. The macroscope that is the AI engine is the most fantastic compression we've ever seen. There's more in there than you could harvest in millennia. Some of these things have been described as World Heritage Sites, that we should take some of these early models and we'll study them for 100 years or so, maybe longer. Because they're early snapshots at humanity at this stage, before we had AI, before we changed everything. It's like looking at the world before or after electricity, or before or after the automobile. If we look at New York City, for example, and we look at the period of time where it was dominated by horses in the street, to where it was almost entirely automobiles, except for in the park. It's about 30 years. This AI revolution is going to go even faster. In about 5 years, the vast majority of the data on the internet is going to be artificially generated. The dictionary just redefined the word slop as a new number down the list for artificially generated data. How is the next generation going to deal with that? How are we going to understand what was real and what was not? I think it's going to be one of the biggest challenges. But this macroscope is going to show us things we didn't know were there. It's not that we're going to do what we do now more efficiently. We're going to do things we've never done before. We don't dream of doing now. Even in Star Trek and Star Wars and whatever science fiction you want to think of, they're all going to look way too simplistic in terms of the actual changes we're going to see in the world in just the next 10 years. Much more dramatic than electrification, much more dramatic than the combustion engine. And now's the opportunity for everybody to get involved. This is like the early days. Nobody knows where this is going to go yet. And so anybody listening has as much leverage to change that future as we've ever seen it before. Nobody has ever had that kind of power. And you can open it right now. Click new tab, open it up. It's free. The most powerful technology that's ever existed on the planet is available for anybody to use. Take advantage of that. Create a new field. Take areas of thought that have never been combined before and start generating these things. There's not enough people on the planet. There's not enough space on the planet to generate everything it could generate. And so it's like a gold mine where we will never run out. So jump in, get involved, and start creating. Now's the time.